So we had said that we would answer some questions. Babe, are you still on? Do you want to come back over and chat? Should probably message her in case she's not on. Let's see where she is. And so we'll kind of open it up to any questions. We know that, so this is the part of the show that's over, and then we did say we would chat a little bit. You're on? Do you want to come back over? I'm sure that people have questions. This will be the non-salacious, but Tiff we had a team when we were with Lularoe, and I'm going to start this by addressing just a couple things. You took your bra off. Now it's a party. Bra is off. Hey guys, sorry, show's over. I will see y'all later. Have a good night. Okay, so Tiffany, I'll get to your question in just a second. So we have a lot of friends. In fact, we still have family that's still in the business. Tucker was in the business up until just a few weeks ago. And to our friends that are still in the business, that are still doing Lularoe, if it suits you and it fits you and it supports your family, then by all means stay with it. But we've had some questions lately. None of them would actually come talk directly to us, but they ask why we care. Why are we still involved? And it's funny because why are we still even paying attention? Like, why don't we just let it go? Well, first of all, I'm not an ostrich. And second of all, most of the people that have those questions don't have teams. And they don't understand what it's like to bring in 750, 800, 1,000 different people on a team and have people counting on you and that trust you to support their families. I don't know what I don't know what our policy was or what would have changed. We will always ship overseas. You just have to pay for the shipping. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to buy like one or two items, but we'll charge you actual shipping on something like that. It's just it would require an email on something like that, and we'd probably have to charge you outside of our system, which hey, we can do now because we own our own business. From the very beginning, we knew that we were going to bring a lot of people in and that it was a good opportunity. And the entire reason that we joined Lularoe in the first place was because we saw an opportunity that that you could make a really good living by selling the clothes. And that's really what we were in for. Gosh, I'm trying to think of how to say some of this stuff because I really don't want to anger people, but the reason that I think that it's important that we have a voice and that we talk is because we did have a lot of access. And when I say access, it doesn't mean special privileges. It means that we had, that I could make a phone call and talk to people in the company and try to get answers for things and try to figure things out and try to point things into the direction that we felt, and not just because we thought so, but because it was feedback from lots and lots of people. people on our team. Now, we always sold what would be considered a lot of clothes. We sold a lot. And the one thing, well, sorry. The one thing that we never did was we never put ourselves in a situation where we could be controlled by Lularoe, that we could be controlled by our bonus check. It was maybe 3 or 4 months into the company that we got a phone call. We got 2 different phone calls, and I don't remember the order. One was from Art McCracken, who I will just leave it at that because I have nothing nice to say about him. And that stems from, 1, he can't ever look anyone in the eye, and 2, he decided to cuss me out on speakerphone with my kids in the car. So, sorry, that's a little vent. Art can kiss my ass. But the calls came from Art and from Deanne, and on 2 separate occasions, they told us that we should not be selling as much, that we should focus on our team, and stop selling. And that we should just get to a certain amount, and that we should give our customers to our downline. You guys, that whole line of thinking is to make you dependent on somebody else. And that is not a situation. If I want to go do that, I'll go get a corporate job. It is, in my opinion now, so that they could have control over you and make it so that you kind of had to do what they told you to do or what they asked you to do. And that's just not a situation that I'm not ever going to put myself in. It's not something that Tiffany would ever put herself in. We thought that it was much more important that we lead by example, that we continued to sell really almost through anything. A lot of you guys remember, we even sold through the hurricane when we didn't have power. And we just felt like it was really important to have that example out there that, obviously people run their own business and you can do what you want, and you can choose to people can choose, but we just wanted to show people that you were the one who was in charge of the amount of work that you could or could not put in. I probably think that's when we might not have been the favorites, but we spent a ton of our time training people for free. We never once got paid to train anyone, and including going to convention and sitting and doing the live sale. We introduced live sale training to the company on a grand scale. I'm not going to say that nobody in the company ever did it privately for their team or anything like that. I couldn't speak. That'd be speaking out of turn. I'm not aware of it though. But we donated a lot of time to go and train people who are not even, for the most part, very rarely were they even on our team. We just felt it was important. It's always been our mission from when we started teaching coupon classes 12 years ago, that if we had the ability to make anybody's situation better, that we would. That we would do and it's really kind of the fire that just burns within, both of us. We love to teach. We love to train. We love to see people grow and be successful. And we just felt like it was and I don't want to use the word duty, but we just felt like it was a great opportunity to get out there and help. And the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages that we got from people when Lularoe canceled our contract was just, just an amazing outpouring and just kind of a testimony to us that we did do some good while we were there. A lot of people have asked why we got our contract canceled and why we haven't spoken out. We really didn't talk about it before then. And the reason that we didn't talk about it was because we did have so many people and friends that were in the business. And, I don't know what Lularoe is going to say the reason that they canceled our business, because we never got anything in writing from them as far as what it was. I did have a conversation with Mark, the owner of the company, on the phone and that was back in August. And in that conversation, Mark told me that we talked for almost 2 hours. I went through and I kind of demonstrated and showed him and tried to remind him of all the things that we had done through the course of our time at Lularoe. And towards the end of the conversation, he told me that I didn't need a backup plan, that they were not going to cancel our contract, and then that we were good. Tried to get me to make an oath to him. I did make a promise that I wouldn't have meetings without someone from home office there, because they weren't really happy that we had a meeting where the intent was to make the company better. And that was the last time that we heard or spoke from him, and then we got an email like 7 days later. And the reason we didn't really talk about it is because we brought to their attention what I feel, is a blatant and total FTC violation. And that has to do with what they are calling a beta program. So we had quite a few different retailers come and talk to us and tell us about this program that we were not a part of, that we didn't know anything about. And the common thing that I had heard from 2 to 3 different people is how uncomfortable they were being a part of it, because they were told that if they did not, if they told anybody that their contract would be canceled, if they didn't keep their mouth shut, that their contract would be canceled, and and at the very least they would be kicked out of the program. And what they were doing is they were sending orders in to on a spreadsheet to one of the mentors, and he was then going and hand picking inventory that at that time, now previously it had been available, it had gone through circulation, but it had been separated and curated out and put in a separate place, and then was being sent to people so that they could then see if they could advertise and use some Facebook marketing to see if it would help them sell the product. The problem with that is that when you run Facebook ads and that you put out there that these things are available, and they're not available to the general public, it really has the appearance of bait and switch. And if you are not intelligent enough to figure out, and you don't know anything about Facebook to know that if you put a program out there where you're running ads with product that's not available at that time to your consultants, that they're going to see it, because that's the definition of what you're trying to do, then maybe you ought not be running a Facebook program or having somebody else do it for you. Never mind giving a consultant access to your inventory in a business that is completely built on trust, where everybody gets blind boxes. You see where there's a conflict there, and it's something that, you know, maybe different investigators from attorney generals may or may not have talked to us about. It may or may not be something that Vice was interested in. It may or may not be something that Business Insider has contacted us about. Maybe. So those are some of the things that have gone on, and you know, the people that I really feel bad for, all the people who are still trying to get their money back from their returns. Oh, and by the way, one little side note, I did get information last week that there are people still getting boxes from Curtis Wilson. So if you're still in the company, I don't know that I would just let that go. You might want to ask some more questions about that. Just saying. And the reason why in an MLM that's a conflict of interest, because it's showing favoritism to a specific group of people and not the community as a whole. And that's what I was upset about. And ultimately, in my opinion, because they did not say that was why, in my opinion, that was why my contract was canceled. Now, Tiffany and I put our statements out there because we feel like you're like, and this is the thing that I want to, that to the people that we have called ourselves friends and that we have hung out, and that you always appreciated how honest and how straightforward I was no matter what. Like, I get it. There's not a lot that you can do if you're everything you do is tied to a bonus check. It is a really, really terrible position to be in, especially if you're uncomfortable with what's going on. And it's really, really, really hard to speak out. I'm not even asking you to or do anything like that, because it's like it's not my place to tell you to put your family's income. I'm just asking you not to bash or be pissed off at people who are trying to do what they feel is right, because that's all we've ever done. All we ever did was try to help people in the company. We were not asked by, we are volunteers. Yep, let's see. I asked. Yeah, I am not going to comment to what I think Deanna is really like. Let's see. Trying to read some questions here. So I don't think that you guys are going to get anything that's like too salacious. It's very frustrating. It's really, really, really frustrating. And my thing is when they ask you to trust them, I would say, show me. When I hear from people that are extremely familiar and absolutely have the access to know that they heard directions from Patrick that said the uglier the better, that stuff pisses me off. Like, I don't think that's right. When you are, you know, when you're a business that is that promises that there's 2,500 or 5,000 prints and that's all it's ever made, and they know that that's not the case, I have a problem with that. They say UPS is paid. Do you know anything about it? I don't know if UPS is paid. The only thing I know is that what I saw of the screenshot that they sent in was Jeff Thompson, who, interesting enough, is Nicole's husband, who doesn't work at Lularoe and has not for over 2 years. He is actually the co-owner of Dot Dot Smile. So, I don't know, either someone still has access that is not a Lularoe employee, or possibly it's not their account. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation. Yeah. What other questions do you guys have? What happened to Megan Parker? Again, I don't know the exact reason. I can tell you what Megan, she got her contract canceled, and I do not know this for a fact because I have not seen her bank account, but she claims that they took $70,000 out of her account, that they pulled the bonus back, pulled her bonus back. You want to know more about the beta testers? You know what? The beta testers are not the problem, because almost anybody in the company, given the opportunity, would probably participate. It's the fact that the program ever existed. And Mark's claimed that it's the only reason that we still have Disney, because he was going to cancel the contract. He also claimed that he never saw the screenshots from Curtis promising somebody that they could get hand-picked boxes, which I know for a fact is a lie because he asked me to send them to him, and I did. How do they get away with any of this? Because everyone's afraid to speak up. And, we got suspended, yelled at, called a few times because of us speaking out. But it wasn't going to stop us from trying to do what was right. No, and the Emma piece was not Lularoe's fault. That was not anything to do with anything that Lularoe did wrong. As far as the Emma piece, that was not paid for. As far as like that charity auction, it was the car trip that I paid for that I never got. No, I did not pursue with the charity.
Whoa.
Do I think they keep releasing capsules? I don't know. Tiffany, it's really hard for me to speculate on that. But it would be hard to expect that they have cash flow when they owe a supplier the amount of money that they do. I don't know what us was. What did I miss? Oh, you saw me outside the concert? Yeah, we were a little frustrated with convention. Yeah, I don't like there was a bunch of things about convention that was just an absolute mess. There was very cultish and very quite frankly just really shitty. They had a meeting for what they called the top influencers in the company and made us tell them if raise our hands if we were all in for the company, if we were long term, and then made us write on pieces of paper with a circle or an X while different members of management were standing around looking to see what people wrote. trying to get like a pledge of or an oath of allegiance to them, and it was just the biggest crock of that was when a lot of people decided that they couldn't deal with the company, because it was all about control and not about making clothes. And if you think that it was, and if you're ever confused and think that it was about making clothes, I would love to see the payroll. I would be willing to bet that they have more people on staff for like a film or video crew than they did design staff and people who were in charge of making clothes. Yeah. Yeah, it was just crazy land. It really is. There is not one person in that room that, if they were honest, felt comfortable with what happened in that meeting. That was also the meeting that Mark told us that he had enough money that he could close the doors at any time and board the whole thing up and go either buy an island or go fishing up on his ranch for the rest of his life. I have no idea if Deanne paid Cali State income tax. No idea. Trying to read questions. Yep.
God, wag belly, huh?
It's just one of the reasons why we just think that there's a better opportunity. Do I think Lularoe will go bankrupt? Morally? Or financially? Just saying. I don't know. How many live trainings did we do for free? I don't know. We didn't get reimbursed for our travel either. Probably 15 or so.
Grab something you want.
Sorry, I say what comes in my mind, and when you said bankrupt, I thought morally right. Yeah, that's probably a little cheap shot. Do I think their prices were too low? Well, you guys saw the documents where they marked every single item up at least 3 times. Do I know how many of the top 100 have left? I don't. Rita, it wasn't just top sellers. So and people are getting a couple different stories confused. This was not like a top seller incentive program or anything like that. There were some top sellers in it. There were some mentors in it. There were a lot of, there was no specific classes involved in that. But the problem with calling it a beta test is, where's the data? Show the data. When you do a beta test like that, you're supposed to announce to the field and you're supposed to provide the data. Where's the data from that? It was just, in my opinion, a total farce. And it was an attempt to highlight good Disney to get people to buy, in my opinion. And absolutely a foreseeable outcome for the way they ran the program. nobody should feel bad about wearing the clothes. You should not. It's you paid for them. They made you feel good. It's not like the clothes are not the problem. The lack of change that they had in their overprinting of particular patterns and not really changing things up is really what caused a lot of the problem. But if they make you feel good and you wear them, you should absolutely wear them. And that's the other thing that I tell people all the time. Like, we've never encouraged anybody to leave Lularoe. Not one time have we ever told anyone that they should leave Lularoe. That's not what this is about. It's about information and letting people make their own decisions. Yeah. So Casey, Tiff, is there that is the conclusion that I would draw from that, Rita. I mean, that is not anything that they have admitted out loud, but that I think is a fair conclusion to draw, or at least a fair outcome that you would perceive if you'd thought the whole thing through, as far as who was going to see it, especially when you have the person running the program dropping pictures of his amazing Lularoe Disney that he had just got. So Tori, that's not what I said. I said that they did it to run ads with pictures of hand-picked Disney that was then seen by other consultants thinking that that's what was available. Were we thinking of leaving? No. And actually that's the thing, as I said this a month ago, we've known about the market and about the ability to buy wholesale. You guys, my grandma was making clothes in the 80s. She designed one of the Olympic tracksuits. Like, I am familiar with the business. Like, we knew that we could do this on our own, but we, out of a sense of responsibility for a lot of the people that we brought into the company, we just didn't think it would be fair if we just bailed. I don't know when the beta thing started. No idea. None. Oh, and I will say, just so that it is perfectly clear out there, when you taught those trainings, like I said, they did not compensate you at all monetarily, but you were allowed to, for each training trip, spend 1 hour picking your own inventory out of what was available in the line, or what was available there. So you could spend 1 hour, you paid for it, but that was, I guess that in a way that could be considered a form of compensation. So, it's for the majority of us that we're teaching, the amount of inventory that you could pick in an hour, it was not it was not even 10% of what you were selling in a month, or about 10%. Yeah. That's one of the things that they tried to hit me back with. Well, you didn't complain when you got to pick from the warehouse. Well, I was also there training people and helping their sales and making it better. No, because we lost not only we lost $15,000 to $20,000 minimum in sales for the 3 days that 3 or 4 days we were gone, and that's like on the really low end. So, what other questions you guys have? Yes. We did not ever get our July bonus, no. Nope. Or our prorated August bonus, or any of that stuff. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and you guys all know, if you were in our group, you know how often I was gone doing those. Yep, time with our family. Isn't that a breach of contract? Well, what's interesting, as far as like a breach of contract, that would be a really interesting thing to find out. I believe in Mark's tearful plea when he was crying and whatever he was trying to do. I believe he said that we don't have the product that you need for your business. And in our contract, there is like, I don't know, however many pages. All the pages are all of the consultant stipulations, what they can and can't do. Lularoe has one job. One effing job. To produce clothes that we can sell. So I don't know, is that a breach of contract? Just saying. So, Troy, the problem with suing Lularoe is that every consultant, your contract, there's a mediation and arbitration agreement, and it's the likelihood, it's always a meet in the middle, and so on purpose, in fact, many people will tell you they've heard Bill tell you from the stage that let me see if I can remember his quote. I've never met a case I couldn't lose, but I will make your life miserable and make you spend as much money as you can. You know what? I emailed them. I made a request. They chose to ignore it. They have not responded. I just, because on the phone they told me that they canceled our contract. In the conversation, let me rephrase this. Art said my contract was canceled because we were trying to recruit people to our new MLM, which obviously not true because we don't have an MLM. Mark told me on the phone he didn't even care about the MLM or if I was trying to recruit people. I believe his quote was, between you and me, I don't even care about that. I care about the collusion. In which he also told me to drink all the Kool-Aid. Which, I don't know about you guys, but that reference has always really bothered me. And if that is a statement that the owner of the company wants to make, he should probably do a little history on what that's actually a reference to, as far as the cult suicide pact. Drink all the Kool-Aid and enjoy it. Yep. Well, in his opinion, a bunch of people getting together and meeting about what's going on in the company and how to make it better is collusion. Yeah. And I would love it if he denied that. I don't. I think that. I don't think that they were going to try to discredit us because they knew that that probably wasn't going to be possible. Too many people know that we just don't bullshit. That we're, that we don't make things up. We don't put slants. If something is like, even right now, like about different things, we won't, like, I would not tell you that different things are Lularoe's fault. Some things I would, some things I wouldn't. Like, some of the complaints that people have about the company, I disagree with on those. Yeah. Like, for example, I don't think that the fact that a lot of their family is involved in running the company on its own, it's not a problem. There's certain people in the company that do a fantastic job that are their family. It becomes a problem if you do it so that you don't really have any accountability. That's where, if that were the case, then that's where the problem would be. No, the quality issues. So let's talk about a couple. The quality issues, like that whole thing, to me is a lot of nonsense. So, for example, the leggings issue. And again, this is my opinion. What do I think Patrick's role is in the downfall of the company? I think Patrick was a big reason for the downfall of the company, but ultimately it was Mark and Deanne's fault for putting him in a position with no checks and balances at all. But like, they have a lot of really qualified people. The guys that run the warehouses, amazing. Like, they're amazing at what they do. For what they do, for what they have, and the systems and stuff that were put in place, like, no complaints. Like, they did a great job. My dealings with Noel, which were limited, great guy. I've heard some things that I don't think are amazing, but I don't know if they're true or not. I have no idea. Oh yeah, Corian, yeah, you still can. It's number 52. Sure. So, but there was a time when I would have said that that Mark was a great guy. I can tell you I don't feel the same way now. I'm sure he doesn't feel the same way about me, but I don't think any of mine is out of dishonesty. I mean, and as far as, do they really own a plane? I don't know. I think so. I mean, one of the other big problems were how long they told people that they were debt free, which is like it's a misstatement and it's a inflation of it's misleading as to the state of the company. Do I know why Paige was fired? I don't. Why do I still wear the bracelet? The bracelet has nothing to do with Lularoe as a company. It had to do with me and our goals that we had. Did they really keep clothes outside? Yes, they did really keep clothes outside for a period of time. I do not believe that was for a long period of time. I don't know the period of time that it was, but I do have pretty good information that's an accurate statement. That that at one point they did, and that there was a known problem. Yeah. Well, I mean, besides the $12 million loan on the warehouse, which they took that out, I think, in March or something, February or March of this year, is my understanding. I mean, they owed their manufacturer at one point hundreds of millions of dollars. I think now it's like, from what I saw in the lawsuit thing, it was like a total of like 81 million is what they're asking for. So yeah, I don't think that I have not ever heard them dispute that at some point the clothes were outside. I have heard them dispute if there was mold or if there was any problems from that. That was just one manufacturer, yes. They haven't paid tax in either warehouse here. That's not uncommon. That's not crazy land. Do I think they got in over their head, or do you think they were dishonest from the start? I don't know. I really don't know. Why did they not get in more trouble for stealing designs and artwork? I think all those things were settled. I think they ended up. My understanding, I don't have 100% knowledge. My understanding is that they ended up compensating, and then I did see a bin, or I mean, when I say bin, I mean a large area of hundreds of different pieces that were taken out of production. I never received moldy clothes to my knowledge. I don't know, Kimberly. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know enough about that process or what is an industry standard on that kind of a situation. The warehouse shopping hype. Yep. Do you think we'll be called to testify? I don't know. Do I know what happened to Lularoe jeans? Yes, they didn't pay for the fabric. Yeah, Deanna was telling the truth at convention that they couldn't pay for them. Or she couldn't have her house and pay for the jeans or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I should rephrase that. They didn't pay for them. I don't know if they could or they couldn't. I'm assuming they could. I don't think that they had bought, what was the report? $200 to $300 million and go live in the Bahamas or something? Yeah. What was my favorite style? Oddly enough, the Mark. For women, my favorite dress was the Nicole. I thought it was the most flattering. I thought that it had some design flaws in the arms that made it too tight across women's chest, and that's why you had to size up too on those for the most part if you had a bigger chest. Anita, I don't know. I don't know why they ordered items to be destroyed before they received them. You know, Jennifer, and that's one thing is I still want, and to anyone, and I'm sure there are people that people in defectives and and other people are gonna put this video up or at least talk about it. It's not about scruples. People got into this business to support their family, and asking someone to just walk away, or to even put a bonus check at risk is really a hard thing to do. Yeah. It's difficult. I don't know how many now. I know that the last report that I remember seeing is that we had gone at one point from we had signed up over 1,100 people. I don't know how many people, not just us, but on our team. And I don't know how many people, you don't get the info on how many people actually it was really, really hard to tell who was active, who had onboarded in their system. The last report that I saw was 237 were active. I will not be selling Patrick's line in my boutique. Absolutely not. No, Patrick called the retailers amateurs in one of the meetings that we didn't know what we were doing. So I will not be carrying any of Patrick's stuff. He also extremely arrogant and egotistical and mic dropping and all that stuff. Yeah. Nope. Nope, not, Doug Roylance did not create Bless. No. I believe at one point he had something to do with part of the design for Audrey, but I don't even think that was his. Yeah, all those reports and things like that are not accurate, to my knowledge. Out of Doug's mouth, I mean, if I suppose Doug could be lying, but I wouldn't classify Doug as someone that would lie about something like that. Do I know why lots of top sellers left? Yeah, Mark told us because they couldn't provide product that we could sell to our customers and maintain our businesses. They didn't remove people from our team. They kicked us. They canceled us. What's the biggest misstatement out there I want to correct? I don't know. I'd have to be asked the question. I also don't want to downplay how hard it is. Yeah, they made us place people, for sure. How hard this process is, and that it's not easy to do. What happened with Lularoe was amazing. The problem and the arrogance is that Mark and Deanne think it was them, and all of us know that it was us. Oh, they removed retailers from our team. Okay, so what that is, Anita, is in Mark's compensation plan, you lose the value of a team, of someone underneath you, and you also get a lower payout for someone who makes a certain rank. So you lose that volume, which means that it's harder to qualify for your bonus, or that you're in a lot of cases you are not going to qualify for your bonus. That's what that means.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, if you help make people successful, you get penalized. So, I actually don't. Somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 pieces. Well, and this is the other thing that that I completely and 100% disagreed with him on is, and they used it as a control, but they call it leadership bonus, when really you're bringing people into a team that are like, we're their customers, and what they lost track of is that they're wholesalers first. And then if they want to do all the, the kumbaya stuff, but the kumbaya and all the other fake stuff that went with it came first to them. Michelle, that's not like, it's the joggers and leggings don't compare. Was every piece sellable? Individually, yes. There isn't anything that somebody wouldn't. I mean, walk around the mall, you'll see stuff that you're like, ooh, no, who would buy that? But yet it's on their body. Yeah, I mean, they had, in their entire company, they had no one. And this is going to ruffle some feathers, but this sounds like fun anyway. There was not a single person on the executive team, or to my knowledge, that worked for that company that ever did what we did. I got so freaking sick and tired of hearing for 27 years, Deanne did what we did. Bullshit. She did parties seasonally for dresses. She didn't do this every single day for 12 months out of the year. It's not the same thing. It is not the same business. It's not even in the ballpark. That does not mean that what Deanne did was not absolutely amazing. It was. But it's not the same thing. They did not run the same business that we did.
Right.
There, that'll be fun.
Switchy? Switches?
I believe that Deanne started the maxi skirt. I don't know anything to be different from that. I don't know if there's a cruise or not. I mean, she did absolutely sell clothes seasonally for 27 years. I believe that. But run a business like we do? No. Hey, every retailer has thought it. Every time they say it. It's almost a drinking game. It's one of those, like, if you play cruise or convention bingo, it was a spot on the card. We were going to hear 27 years. We were going to hear 2.4 billion in sales, or whatever the number was at that month, Yeah. Agnes and Dora is family member. Epiphany used to be her sister's company. She still is a minority. She's a silent partner in that. And dot dot smile is Nicole and Jeff's. But they're all related. Like, not the companies are related, not to my knowledge. I wouldn't ever make that accusation. But the people who run them are all related. I wish you were over here, Tiff, because, like, am I legally allowed to speak? I'm not. I don't have a lawsuit, and I'm not being sued. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I'll probably get a letter tomorrow or something. Oh, there might be something. Well, and as far as the clothes, that's only the beginning. That is only the beginning. There is going to be some really cool stuff coming. Right, Christy? Yeah, so we are not going to get into, like, bashing, like, I don't want to get into, like, bashing people's appearance or even mannerisms, stuff like that. There are some things that are frustrating. I'm totally not calling anybody out. I just want to keep that from, that's about as far as we'll want that to go. We did not show the beard shirt, Sandy. We'll try and get that in tomorrow. Any other questions or anything else you guys want to know? We will, we do have some really big announcements coming. Not going to talk about it too much tonight, but there's some cool stuff coming. Renee Beister, no, she was not under me. Sarah Gibbons was our direct. Holly and Jamie were our direct. Even Tucker wasn't our direct because of the way they, I won't say forced us, but strongly suggested and said something like, you better not have more than this. I have no idea what's going on with the class action lawsuit. None. No. I think that for now I've probably taught my last coupon class for a while. Best advice I have for new boutique owners, keep really good track of your inventory and what you're selling and the sizes and stuff, and don't overbuy. That's the easiest trap. It's really, being a boutique owner and having the packs built the way they are is really, really difficult. Yeah. I'm sure the ladies who are calling us liars, they would never have a conversation with me personally about it. And if any of you think that I'm lying and you're convinced, reach out. More than happy to have a conversation with you. Yeah, let's not get into talking about other people's shops or anything like that. Yeah, it's hard to know what is or isn't your market. And that's why we feel like it's really important for us to create a brand, and that's why we're doing that. We want a continuity of sizing and really high quality. So we will shift more and more away from buying from a lot of people in LA and really narrowing it down and working with them to get the product to the quality that we want. We have not said the name of our brand. Not yet. Some of you guys will be able to figure it out when you get your new pieces, but we just don't want to launch. Like, we're not going to be a graphic tee company, and a lot of the stuff we have is really just kind of a seasonal launch, just trying to get stuff out for Christmas, and really, really working on like the sizing and stuff and making sure that it's all right. We will be selling at Wholesale, yes. Do I think they're actually going to be able to pay everyone to return their inventory? I wouldn't speculate. I think they could if they... My opinion is that they could if they wanted to. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. How about that? It was rushed. We're actually going to have to switch it. We have a minor league hockey team that is really fighting hard to keep that name. Yeah. Rush is the brand name that we were going with. We did not think it would be an issue with the minor league hockey team, but it is, so we're just not gonna even pursue it. Sure. Yeah, we can. Yeah, and so, like, for example, if anyone's going to be in LA Wednesday or Thursday and you want some help, we'll be there. We're going to be there fairly regularly. And if you want help on starting your own boutique, we'll be there. Yeah, we'll continue the style boxes. Right? I don't know enough about the process. The only thing that that I've ever heard for myself is that Mark has said he's going to put his priority of paying the things that help the business first, and that people had to wait to get in, they can wait to get out. Those are the only things that I can remember saying regarding the process. And I do believe there's a lot of people that tried to take advantage of that, and ultimately I think it cost a lot of people. But I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I've just seen enough things where people were saying that they had taken advantage or were going to. Did Top 100 get first dibs on Lula? No. They did not. Georgia has a huge wholesale market. Yeah, well, they have they have a big wholesale market, and then they have the big show I think is like twice a year. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to know? It doesn't have to be about this. It can be about anything. There's just been kind of the news lately. Stormy, as part of our new thing that we're doing, we will be doing some training and stuff for people that want it. That are a part of what we're doing. Moose is awesome. He's super fun. I know. I wish that I could take this over to go see him. Or Tiffany could bring Moose over. Will spends, he spends 3 to 4 hours a day outside. A lot of the stuff we're doing right now, Rita, is buying from certain vendors, but we do have a design team that puts together a bunch of stuff that Tiff and I pick out, and that we're going to be getting some input